Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. So, have you ever found yourself just staring up at the ceiling as the night completely slips away, and suddenly it hits you, you're about to face a brand new day without a single second of rest? Honestly, we've all either been there or at least wondered what it would be like. Well, today, we're unpacking the source material to see exactly what happens to your brain, your heart, and your hormones when you miss a full day of sleep. We're going to explore a theme that is universally understood, yet intensely physical, the biological toll of a day without sleep.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Section 1. A day without sleep. Pushing our bodies past their natural biological limits. Just look at that number, 24. Now, in the context of a normal, healthy day, 24 hours is just the standard expected cycle of the Earth spinning on its axis, right? And it dictates what we call our circadian rhythm. That internal master clock drives our sleep-wake cycle. But when you are awake for every single one of those hours, you are fighting a massive physiological battle against the chemical called adenosine. Think of adenosine as basically sleep pressure. From the very moment you wake up, it starts building and building in your brain. Usually around the 16 or 18-hour mark, that pressure signals to your body, hey, it's time to shut down and repair. But when you push past that, when you force your eyes to stay open and hit hour 24, the accumulation of that adenosine becomes absolutely overwhelming. The sheer weight of enduring a single, continuous 24-hour cycle without letting your brain clear out that chemical pressure is just a monumental disruption. It really asks a fundamental question of human endurance. And trust me, your biology fights back every single step of the way. Now, the contrast we're looking at here highlights a massive chemical shift in how your body actually operates. On a normal day, as the sun goes down, your brain's pineal gland starts releasing melatonin, smoothly preparing your systems for rest and naturally resetting your internal clock. It's the rhythm we are literally built to follow. But when you experience a day without sleep, that routine completely shatters. Because your body isn't getting the restorative shutdown it chemically expects. It basically hits the panic button. Just to keep you standing, your adrenal glands start pumping out stress hormones, specifically cortisol and adrenaline. So the night no longer offers a reset. Instead, it turns into this chemically induced continuous bridge of pure exhaustion leading right into the next morning. You are essentially forcing your body to run on an emergency generator. This contrast builds a profound dramatic tension within our own biology, replacing our natural calming processes with a prolonged, exhausting fight-or-flight response.
So, the crucial point is Section 2, the biological toll, understanding the severe physiological cost and debt incurred by the body. Let's really deconstruct this definition for a second. A biological toll. I want to focus intensely on that word toll. A toll isn't a suggestion, it's a strict cost, it's an exacted price. When you skip sleep, you aren't somehow getting a free pass to experience more hours in your day. No, you are taking out a physiological loan. And what exactly does this debt look like? Well, the source material reveals some incredibly hard numbers. First off, your reaction times absolutely plummet. Research shows that being awake for 24 hours results in cognitive and motor impairments, equivalent to having a blood alcohol concentration of 0.10%. Just to put that into perspective, from a functional standpoint, you are legally intoxicated. Second, your immune system takes an immediate hit. The production of infection-fighting T cells drops significantly, leaving you highly vulnerable to whatever pathogens are floating around. Furthermore, your blood pressure spikes as those stress hormones we mentioned earlier severely constrict your blood vessels. The fascinating yet kind of terrifying thing about our biology is that your body will always demand that this physical damage, this debt, be paid back. When we look closely at the biological toll of a day without sleep, we really need to view it through the lens of a chain reaction. Think of the internal systems of your body, like a complex line of falling dominoes. You take away the sleep, and you push over that very first domino. The initial loss of focus and cognitive slowing in your prefrontal cortex directly leads to frustration and anxiety. Well, that anxiety then triggers your amygdala, the emotional center of your brain, causing it to massively overreact. This emotional stress signals the rest of the body to release even more cortisol. And then, elevated cortisol levels severely disrupt your glucose metabolism. This means your body stops processing sugars effectively, actually mimicking the early signs of insulin resistance. It's a completely ominous, cascading effect. One failing system knocks right into the next. The biological toll isn't just one isolated symptom. It's a systemic chain reaction of undeniable, inescapable consequences spreading throughout your entire body. And this brilliantly illustrates our next part. Section 3, the 24-hour question. Unraveling essential mysteries surrounding our body's breaking point. The source asks us point blank, what happens if you don't sleep for 24 hours?
This is exactly where all those disrupted chemicals, that massive adenosine buildup, and the cascading system failures culminate into a very real lived reality. When the clock strikes that 24th hour of continuous wakefulness, your brain actually begins to force its own shutdown through a wild phenomenon called microsleeps. These are brief, completely involuntary episodes of sleep that last anywhere from 1 to 10 seconds. Your eyes might be wide open, you might be staring right at your computer monitor or the road ahead, but your brain is completely offline. Beyond microsleeps, the cognitive deficits become severe. Your working memory, the part of the brain that holds onto short-term info like a phone number or a conversational thread, essentially drops offline. Decision-making becomes totally impulsive and deeply flawed. Emotionally, the source data shows that the amygdala becomes up to 60% more hyperreactive. 60%. That leads to extreme mood swings and an absolute inability to contextualize normal social interactions. Suddenly, everything feels like a threat or a massive crisis. Physically, your coordination fails and your risk for accidents absolutely skyrockets. The body is desperately trying to shut off the lights, and the mind starts losing its grip on reality, which can even lead, in some extreme cases, to mild visual or auditory hallucinations. That is the actual lived reality of the biological toll.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to consider this crucial overarching question. What happens if you don't sleep for 24 hours? Before you decide to sacrifice a full night's rest for just a few more hours of work or play, remember what we've unpacked today. It isn't just about feeling a bit groggy the next morning. You are operating with the reaction time of someone who is functionally intoxicated. You're compromising your immune system, spiking your blood pressure, and literally forcing your brain into dangerous microsleeps while your emotional centers just spiral out of control. We've explored the stark contrast of a shattered circadian rhythm, the incredibly heavy physical weight of adenosine buildup, and the cascading chain reaction of biological debt. So the next time you find yourself considering pushing past your natural limits, ask yourself, knowing the incredible damage to your brain, your heart, and your hormones, are you truly prepared to pay the toll? Thank you so much for joining me today, and keep learning.